In this video, we will be tasting and talking about batch 85 of the Ecocha Tea Club, Mr. Lin's eco-farmed Oolong tea. Batch 85 of the Ecocha Tea Club is Mr. Lin's eco-farmed Oolong tea, which for us is a very momentous occasion. It marks the 7th anniversary since we ran a crowdfunding campaign with Mr. Lin upon his certification. When he first received his organic certification for his newly established farm, we did a crowdfunding campaign to raise the money to buy his entire inaugural harvest. That was the winter harvest 7 years ago. So it's been a very enjoyable and fulfilling experience to reconnect with Mr. Lin, to see his farm doing quite well. The first few years of his organic farming experience were not easy. A lot of his initial plot of tea perished, and he had to replant with different strains, and now it's looking quite good, and he seems to have learned in the process how to be an organic farmer successfully. So that's been very enriching. We are honored to have been able to work with Mr. Lin and encourage him in this effort. He now, in the last few years at least, has an ongoing contract with an organic food supermarket chain here in Taiwan that is affiliated with the certification organization. He's able to sell his tea to this supermarket chain on an ongoing basis, which pretty much demands most of his produce. He does have regular customers, mostly friends and friends of friends, who have learned about his tea over the last 7 years and have come to appreciate his whole approach to farming and his lifestyle, which involves a Buddhist practice. So, without further ado, we bought just enough for the tea club, because that's about as much as he had to offer, and asked him to roast it lightly. He roasted it one time. This is a winter harvest from mid-October, and I'm going to taste it right now. Yeah, very obvious roast, but light. When I was brewing up this pot of tea, the prominent aromatic note that was coming off the wafting leaves, or wafting off the brewing leaves, was toasted grains, like toasted rice or toasted millet. I thought of popcorn at a certain point. And I think that's the prominent flavor note as well in the first brew. I did 12 grams of tea in a 175 milliliter teapot, roughly 1:15 ratio, brewing them for roughly 1 minute per brew. The last brew, the 5th brew, I brewed for longer, and we have the 6th brew here. So I'm just going to keep going. The tea has cooled down now. I feel that allowing the tea to cool offers the most fullest spectrum of flavor. You get the most of the flavor profile once the temperature has decreased and it's not volatile anymore. There's some underlying vegetal notes, sort of fresh cut wood also in my nose. Very full flavored, and yeah, a nice light roast. The roast is really interesting. It's light, but it's prominent. I feel like that it really hit the mark in that sense, without allowing the leaves to get too overly roasted and have only the roasted character be present. This offers, you think of something toasted or roasted, but there's a lot more. There's a freshness here as well. I'm thinking seared vegetables, like What's the one? Endives and radicchio, something a little bit bitter. Just slightly charred on a barbecue, on a grill perhaps. It's difficult to say anything that is conclusive in terms of what an organic tea profile means, but I feel like this is representing its organic farming methods in the flavor profile. There's something that, it's just in my personal experience really, but I share this experience with Mr. Lin and other tea farmers, our current source of eco-farmed high mountain oolong. You just get something, and of course it has to do with how the leaves grow, the conditions they grow in, the pests that affect the plant, and the immune system response from the tea plants. All of that is at play, offering in the end something more, or at least separate from the standard flavor profile that you get from high mountain oolong. And the processing obviously is also influential. I think Mr. Lin purposely oxidized these leaves significantly, but not extensively. I would say that this is maybe 10% more than a standard high mountain oolong. A bit less than Dongding oolong, or a traditional Dongding oolong. I'm just going to keep rolling here because it tastes good. There's almost something of an aged quality coming through as well. How do I describe that? Something preserved about the flavor profile. It's a lot, actually. I really am getting a fresh vegetal, slightly seared flavor. Some, not quite campfire, but something about wood and toasted grains. But there's an underlying bitter note. It's not astringent, but there is the original oolong, as we say in Chinese often, the original flavor of tea, or oolong tea especially, coming through, which having a bitter note makes the flavors pop. It just kind of brings them to life and allows them to kind of linger more. A very nice, palatable, light roast organic oolong tea from Mr. Lin's farm that we have watched come into being, literally. He has a long history of farming and a challenging career, really. You can learn about that in the documentary that we made. It's on our YouTube channel. And we will have links to that in our blog posts for batch 85 of the ecochateas Club. Before I finish, I want to do what I like the most, which is to taste the combination of all the brews. This is brews 1 through 5. It's warmer still because it's in a big cup. Something of a little bit of an ale flavor too. Something preserved, slightly fermented vegetables, fruit maybe, but it's more on the kind of clean, slightly bitter side of things. Less sweetness, other than this kind of toasted grain note coming through, especially in the nose. There you have it. Please let us know what you think. Leave your comments in the comment section of our blog posts or on our YouTube video page. We love to hear about your experience. See you next month.